Oh, we record it. Okay, test one, yes. Here we go. Let's pray. Father, Son, Holy Spirit, and hats off. Let's pray for doctors and nurses and all the healthcare workers during COVID and beyond. Again, this is like you going to school to yesterday till Thursday for the whole day, and then going to school again for another day. That's a double shift. They're double, triple shifting. They're exhausted. Let's just pray for lots of support and lots of strength. And know that everyone loves them so much and appreciates them so much. For this we pray to the Lord. Lord, hear our prayer. Now you have in homework, page 2 and 3. I even wrote down Google Class. I am checking, or did I? I can't remember if I decided. But I'm not checking, and I meant to check, but it's short Friday, so we need to get on with it because we don't have much time. But I am checking it on Monday, so if you did it, that's good because you're going to have page 4, 5, and back of another page for homework for Monday. So, you didn't do it for nothing. We just need to get on to the study stars. And yes, so we're on the, what is that, middle of page, which one is that? 4, or page 4, please. And we're going to study star. Anything I study star is an important information page on your important information page. So you study star the question and you write down the answer. Sorry, that's not where the study star goes. For 2. Right here is where it goes. And I want you to try A on your own. It is a grade 9-ish question. But try for 1 minute on your own. And who cares if you get it right? Just try it. Study star green. Not this study star. We did that on Wednesday. Thursday we had the test. By the way, on your test, as you're writing that down in your study star for the IIP, important information page. I'm not sure what the class average is yet. There's still about 5 people that haven't written. Good news. First of all, the tests, it's just like training for a marathon, right? Your quizzes, you're getting to running, you're building it up. Maybe you can run a 5K, and then your quest. You need to run a 10K or maybe a half marathon at that point, and then your quest. Your test is like the marathon, the race, the challenge. That one is on the whole unit and is obviously harder run for a harder evaluation than anything else that we've done up to date. You might be disappointed because you saw you had a 96 average going in, and yes, I know it's disappointing if you get an 80, or if you have a 75 and you get a 60. It's going to be harder. There's 3 people I think got a 100, so that was good. But you just gotta keep smiling. And if you didn't do nearly as good as you wanted to, give yourself a break. It's your first high school math test, and you know what to expect. And there is a do-over. Your lowest test mark gets replaced at the end of the year with your practice mock exam in January. Okay, so there you just keep smiling, and I just want you to try. But if you didn't try your best, that's your kick in the butt you need for the rest of the school year and the rest of your high school career. It doesn't work. If you're not doing homework, it doesn't work. You need to practice math like Sidney Crosby practices hockey. Okay, let's do this one. Equal signs, please. When you put equal signs, kick yourself in the shins. We do not do 6 subtract 4, even though that's the first thing we see. So that's why we study star that. Anybody know why we don't do 6 subtract 4? Yes, Catherine?
Because multiplication comes first.
Perfect. So if you want dead mass or PEMDAS or whatever you learn, or you just write down we multiply first. Okay, so that's an A. You multiply before you add and subtract. That's what the mass is. And this is the multiply. Okay, so write down multiply first. And study star it. And now the 6 subtract comes down. Sorry, as negative 4 times 8 is negative 32. Keep x. Negative 4 times 1 is negative 4. Now you collect like terms. CLT means collect like terms. So 6 subtract 4, you bring the negative 32 down, negative 32x, and 6 subtract 4 is plus 2. Don't write it this way because you might be tempted to go 2 subtract 32 is negative 30, and that's wrong. So that's why we always write numbers at the end or constants at the end. The x squares first, then x's, and then numbers at the end. Okay, descending order. That's one reason. So you don't wreck your perfect answer. Here, I do have an equal sign that's right here. Make sure you put equal signs. Negative 32x plus 2z. Your turn to do b. I'll give you a hint on how to do b. You did it in grade 9, 75 years ago. You distribute, it's a two-stepper, distribute and collect like terms. Remember, distribute are arrows. Arrows mean multiply. And then you can add the x's together, and you can add the numbers together by adding the numbers and keeping the letters. That's the second step, collect like terms. 2 crackers plus 3 crackers equals 5 crackers, not 5 crackers squared. Equal signs, go, go, go. Finish B. Not make any sign mistakes. Right, the night stomp the comp. It's being live streamed. It'll be a good feed. Hopefully we win by 1 or by 72. Like a clover. Michigan State. They look a lot like the U.S. Huskies uniforms. Who play tomorrow? Tomorrow we play the Dinos at 4 o'clock. I'll be there. Let's see how you did on this guy. Equal sign, so 4 times 2, 8x. 4 times negative 3, negative 12. Negative 2x, just what you see, you push them together. And what's negative 2 times negative 6? Careful of your sign. See if you put positive 12 or negative 12. Now you add the x's together. 8x subtract 2x. 8 subtract 2 is 6. Keep the x. And negative 12 plus 12 is 0. They cancel. And they get 6x. Check. Hands, checks, yep. Nods, yes. Super. Okay, your turn to do C on your own. No hints. I'm not going to draw the arrows for you. Forget it. Take a look at your girlfriend's Greece. Soon or out. Another 20 minutes. Maybe 40 minutes in class. We're out at 11:02. 40 minutes. If you got under 70 on the test, you can get 5% back by coming to math help on Tuesday. 70% or less. That's always available to you. And we will, like I said, track them when everyone gets ready. Just remind me on Monday when you have to write the test. And, well, hopefully you remember that at lunchtime today. It's Monday lunch. I have supervision, so you're gonna have to come here ASAP, okay? Thank you. Okay. There's 3 of you. How many arrows altogether, my friends? 5 altogether. When the bracket stops, you're done. So 5 times 3 is 15, x cubed. Subtract 35, x times x, plus 5x. Subtract 4x, subtract 3x squared. And now you add the x squares together and the x's together. there is no other x cubes, you just bring it down. So 15x cubed. Subtract, oh, is that it? X squared and x squared. Subtract 35, subtract 3 is negative 38x squared. I almost added the x squared and x together. I noticed the symbol. Let me get that. Check. Yep. All right, if you didn't get it, who cares? Write it down, do it again. And you'll get better and better. Better make a mistake, or even two. Quiz is not till Tuesday. Okay, quiz on Tuesday on collecting like terms and distributive property. Now, I think this goes up with me. Why doesn't that go? It should go. Oh, I gotta do this. Yeah. Okay. So write that down. Study star this one. Again, green, when I say it, means important information page. So this question, example 3. And you need to know when the brackets end, you stop distributing. Usually this one is done better than this one. This one, most people know that when the brackets stop, you stop drawing arrows. You stop distributing. Sometimes I see a third arrow, someone multiplies this 6 by the x, that's a common mistake. This one, you just go 6 times x, 6 times negative 2, and then add the x, and then you collect like terms. 6x plus 1x is 7x. Sorry for the same color. Okay, so write that down. That goes into your important information page, just so you can be aware that's coming up on a quiz and a test and a quest, and you can ace it. Okay, some of you are yawning, so that means you're bored and you want some homework tonight. That's okay. I got some for you. This is, why is yawn? See, now everyone's yawning just because of the word yawn. It's such a weird word. Yeah? Okay, anyways. Let's move on to this homework. This is all homework. And I don't usually give you this much homework on one concept. Distributive property and collect like terms, I do. Okay, this whole unit, this whole year, we're going to be collecting like terms and distributive property. You need to know how to do it perfectly and get better and better and better at it. Okay, so that's homework. You can see right there, page 4 and 5, which I'll put on Google Class, all the way up to here. This quiz, go ahead and write it down, is on Tuesday. In fact, we're going to do the hardest homework question for you on the handout I give you, numerical response. But we'll pause for station identification. I'll give you 5 minutes right now. Hey, remember to unpause. Okay, so I just gave you this sheet. That homework is due on Monday, along with page 2 and 3, which should be done today, and the back of this page, which we'll get to by the end of class. Numerical response questions is something we need to master. I call them kindergarten questions, because most of the time they're asking you to add 2 plus 3 and you have a calculator. So you can't be intimidated by these. They're not as difficult as you think they are, and we want to have a big smile on our face after we leave this class and say, okay, I get it now, or at least I get it way better than I used to. You're going to see these for the whole year. Quizzes, quests, tests, the whole year next year, the whole year after that, on your wedding day, your anniversary. Okay, I'll stop now. Anyways, very, very important. But what you need to, let's look at the first question. This is your last question in the homework, okay? So we don't have to do your last question of your homework. Just put it, see next page, or see handout. The expression 2x times the binomial 4x subtract 3x plus 5x times 2x subtract 5 subtract 3 times 4x plus 2 can be written in the form ax squared plus bx plus c. The value of a plus b subtract c is what? Who cares if you know how to do all that? Okay? You can see, even if you don't know how to do anything, you can see, well, probably I have to do something to this. And there's only one thing you can do with this, well, I should say two-stepper, is distribute and collect like terms. So go ahead and start this, even if you don't know how to do the rest, just start it. and at least you'll feel some confidence and you'll be doing the question. This is the hard part of the question. If you can do this, you can do everything. So go ahead and do that. Distribute and collect like terms. And work ahead of me a little bit. Remember, when you're drawing arrows, you're multiplying. When you're collecting like terms, you're adding and subtracting and keeping the x. Drawing arrows and you see two x's together, that becomes x squared. If you're collecting like terms, 2x plus 3x equals 5x. You keep the x. I'm telling myself right now, I got this wrong. I forgot the x here. Which is why, if you forget the x like I did, and remember, I've made the most math mistakes by far in this room. If you add all yours together and multiply by 100, I still have made more math mistakes than that. It happens. But if I don't have that x here, then my answer is going to be wrong. First thing you need to know, and you're used to this in grade 9, is you can't have a negative as your answer. If my answer is negative 17, it's wrong. There's no chance of it being right. Might as well just put 17 because you have a better chance of 17 is right as opposed to negative 17. Okay, so it can't be negative, can't be negative, can't be negative. Now we collect like terms. X squares. There we go. So 4x squared. Add the x's. 8. Subtract 5. Subtract 12. That's negative 9x. And then just bring down the negative 6. Confirm. Anybody get that? Yes? Yes, yes. Anybody over here? Confirm. Okay. So that's the hard part. That's the math part. That is the grade 10 part, in this case, grade 9 part. Now they're asking you to add numbers together, and you have a calculator. You just can't get confused on the negatives, and you can't get confused on the signs, because you're guessing what A is, you have a 1 in 2 chance. And then if you're guessing what C is, you have a 1 in 2 chance. So your percentage of getting it right is 1 in 4. And that's not good, because you're going to do that every single time for the next 3 years. You can't guess whether the answers, or whether A is 5 or negative 5. You have to know whether it's 5 or negative 5. You can't guess whether C is 1 or negative 1. You have to know that it's negative 1. For sure, makes sense. I'm happy. Then all my math works, and you let the calculator do all the work. Unless you're good with your double signs. Okay, grade 7 teachers for that. Okay, so the next thing you're going to do, and write this on top of the page, is you're going to write the form given to you above or below. I'm going to put above because I'm going to write it above on this sheet. It's just easier to work with. Above your answer. So that you can clearly see that A equals 5 and B equals negative 2. So whatever your answer is, you write down right here, ax squared plus bx plus c, above it or below it. So that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to write down ax squared plus bx plus c. So we can see easier what a equals, what b equals, and what c equals without guessing. So we need to write down a equals, b equals, and c equals. Oops. No, never. A is probably the easiest one. What does a equal? Sorry, I'm going to circle it in black. What number is in front of x squared? Everyone? 4. Yeah, so a equals 4. Now b is where, oh, I can guess or I cannot guess. B is trickier than a. Okay, so if this was negative 4x squared, then a would be negative 4. A is 4. That's generally easier than the b and the c. The b is two ways to look at it. First of all, you have to know what the answer is. The answer is either 9 or negative 9. That's your only options. You can guess if you want to. Not going to work out well for you. Mom's going to take away the phone. Or you can know it, and she's going to buy you another phone. So, first of all, do the substitution way. The substitution way is probably the easiest way. If you put 9 for b, do you get the exact same thing for the red and the black? If you put 9 here, do you get subtract 9x? No. So the answer is negative 9. Because if you put negative 9, it becomes plus negative 9, which is the same thing as subtract 9. Okay, so it's either 9 or negative 9. Put in the positive one and see if it works. If it doesn't work, it's negative. Let's write that down in the other corner. You need to know that your integers, that when you add a negative, that's the same thing as subtraction. And when you subtract a negative, that's the same thing as addition. Sun green, you don't have to write that down. That's right, you don't have to write that down in IB. You have to write it down now because I wrote it down. So the other way of looking at that, in a mathematical way, and try to understand both, but here, B is the number after the addition sign. There is no addition sign. So you have to make subtract 9 into an addition sign. So subtract 9 is the same thing as adding negative 9. So now negative 9 is after the addition sign, and that's why B equals negative 9. So mathematically it works. If you understand your integer signs, it works well as well. Yes, sir. Can you wait 1 minute? Thank you. Okay, so you know there's the integer way of looking at it, and there's a way, just substitution way. So if we put in 6 for C, do you get subtract 6 from the green? Or is the answer negative 6? What's C, 6 or negative 6? Negative 6, okay? If you put 6 here, it becomes plus 6. Yeah, you don't have plus 6, you have subtract 6. Integer way is C is after the subtraction sign. Well, or sorry, after the addition sign. There is no addition sign for subtract 6, but you can write that the same thing as, that's supposed to be black, adding negative 6. So negative 6 is after the subtraction sign. Now we have to do what they ask us. You have to add A plus B and subtract C. So A subtract B plus C equals. A is equal to 4. As first of all, if you want to, you can bring down these subtraction addition signs so you don't lose them, so you don't miss your negative, your double signs here. Okay, these are going to show up half the time. It's okay to subtract a negative. Your calculator will do that easily, or you can do it in your head. A is 4. Subtract, what's B? It's negative. Negative 9. What's C? Negative 6. And that doesn't look right. Who sees a mistake? You mean I didn't write this down? Oh, thank you. Again, I just quickly did this. I got -1. I know I made a mistake. This is like your calculator saying error. This is not a bad thing. I'd rather have a -1 than a 1 that's going to be wrong. -1, you know what's wrong. You can go find your mistake. I made a mistake. I just made a really silly mistake. This should be A plus B. Subtract C. Ay, ay, ay. Okay, thank you. A plus B subtract C is what they ask us. So let's bring down the addition and the subtraction. It's not a bad thing to do this question again. A is 4. Good job, Zach. B is -9. And C is -6. Now, you can punch this in your calculator, or you can know your double signs and do this in your head or your calculator, but the final answer is Calgary Flames, number 1. Dominic agrees. Write that down. He's wearing his Flames jersey right now. Sean Moneyhands. Okay, so that is a lot of work, for sure. Okay, relax, relax. You don't have to be perfect right now. This is the perfect answer. I made a mistake period 1. I forgot the X. That's going to make this all wrong. But if I get -17, I'm happy because that means I made a mistake. I have to check it. If I got 17 and I made that mistake on the 5, then I'm wrong and I don't know it. Okay, but it's something that is longer than the normal question. Okay, normally I would just ask you to do this. You'd be done. Most of the times you're good with that, and you get this answer, you're done. And most questions like that, but the numerical response questions ask you to do something else, an additional add or subtract, and there's going to be double signs all over the place. You don't have to be scared of them. Did anybody punch that in your calculator and get 1? That's your calculator's job, is to get that. But you can't miss these black addition and subtraction signs. That's the most common mistake. Is this negative C, just students will write down subtract 6 right here. Obviously, it's +6 if you subtract a negative. This has to be plus. So you have to be careful. Write down A, and write down the plus sign. Write down B, then write down the negative sign, or subtraction sign. Then write down C. Punch in your calculator, or do it in your beautiful calculator head, and you'll get the right answer. Now, that is a hard question right away, and that's okay. Because now we're going to go step by step and just find A's and B's and C's. If you can't find A's and B's and C's, again, your guessing game is going to be wah, 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 whatever game show that is. Let's put the answer here, 1. And let's go to the easier ones, where we're just finding A, B, and C piece. Okay, so we did something. We got our answer here. What do I ask you to do? Put this on top of it so you can easily see what A and B, certainly easier to see what A and B and C are. Okay, so put this one, the form they give you, on top or below the answer. Now, your turn. Try to put what A and B and C are. Yeah, sorry, go ahead, Kate. Thanks for your patience. We did a lot of steps at the beginning, now we're doing 1 step at a time. Just finding A's and B's and C's. It doesn't ask you to do anything. It would usually ask you to find a plus b, or b subtract c, or a subtract c, or negative a plus c. It will ask you to do something with these, and again, if you just put the signs, bring the signs down, not to get confused, you'll be just terrific. Hard part about that question we just did, there's no partial marks. That's the worst part for me. It's either right or wrong. So you can do all that work, and if you mess up the A's and B's and C's, you don't get any marks. When you did the most important part, but that's just how these questions are formed. And there's going to be 5 of them, probably, on the test. 4 of them. Just depends on the test. Okay, so anyways, A is the number in front of x squared. What's A? Either 2 or negative 2. That one's 2. B is the number in front of x. So here we have a negative 5x. So what I would say is put 5 there. If you put 5 here, does that equal negative 5x? No, it becomes plus 5x. That's not what we want. So the answer is not 5, it's negative 5. Or you can see it as B is the number in after the addition sign. There is no addition sign, but you can see that is the same thing as adding a negative. So that's another reason why B is negative 5. Either way, you'll get the same answer, whatever is easier for you. C, if I put 3 here, do I get subtract 3? Yes or no? If I put in 3 for C, do I get subtract 3?
No.
Or plus 3? I get the opposite, so the answer is 3 or negative 3? It's negative 3. Good job. Don't care if you got those right. Write them down, try again, get better. Next one. Is there any questions right now? You're going to make sign mistakes. It's going to happen, but we want to get better and better. And then we'll get better for that final rehearsal and band performance, our masterpiece. We go over and over and over with a paintbrush at the end. That's our final product. And we got to work hard. First step is to write down ax squared, whichever form they give you. Okay, you can see we have the same answer every time. So this is the same as this, same as this. However, our forms are different. Okay, these are different. This one is ax squared plus bx plus c. This is ax squared plus bx subtract c. This is negative subtract bx. So these are all different. There's no rule. You just have to write down the format, plus bx, subtract c, and see what happens after that. Okay, A, my friends, what does A equal? 2. Good. What does B equal? Is it 5 or negative 5? It's negative 5, because if you put 5 in here, you'd have plus 5x. We want subtract 5x. Or again, B is after the addition sign. You can rewrite subtract 5 as adding a negative 5. So that's why B is negative 5. It's after the addition sign. C, if you haven't seen this one yet, is C 3 or negative 3?
3.
Good job. If we put in 3, then you have subtract 3. Nice. So that one's a little different than we've seen. Okay, do the next two, please. Any questions? Let me know on ABC or even distributive property. Write down the form above or below. That's the best practice right now when we start these. And then at the end, this is our middle step. At the end, then I'm going to ask you to multiply A and C, or subtract B, subtract A. Whatever it says, you do it, you know your answer cannot be negative. Okay.
When you actually try to solve one of these things, does it matter if you put plus negative 3 or just minus 3? Does it matter?
Not really, unless I ask you what C, then you'd have to put -3, not plus -3.
Okay.
Because C is a number, a constant. Okay, question, you're on the board. Here's one, chocolate bar. Let's see if I can write your name so neat. There you go. Exactly same. Hi. Okay, so first we have to put this on top. So this is what you have to have. So you have to write that on top. Since you can't read from here. We need to sign so right now it's the chart. We have to subtract plus. Okay, so now look at your A, it's the number in front of us. Yep, that's good. B, that's the negative, right? So put 5. You get -5. Okay, so here, -5. C, put 3 in here, you get subtract 3 from plus 3. So that's not 3, it'll be -3. All right, let's see how you did. On these ones, ax squared subtract bx plus c. A is the number in front of x squared. 2. B, if you put 5 in for b, do you get -5x? Or do you need -5? Is it 5 or -5? It's 5. You put 5 in here, your subtraction sign's right here, it gives you the -5x. C, if you put 3 in here, do you get subtract 3 or plus 3? You get plus 3, so that's not it. It's not 3. The only other option is -3. If you want to see this as integers, C is after the subtraction sign. Sorry, after the addition sign. That's why C is -3, because -3 can be rewritten as plus -3, which means -3 is after the addition sign. New one. You'll never get A. What's A now?
-2.
Good job. How do you get it? Well, if you just put 2 in here, do you get 2x squared? No, there's a negative right here. You get -2x squared. That's not 2x squared. So the answer is not A, it's -A. Or, if you just substitute the A for -2, you get negative times negative. That's how you get your 2x squared. Okay, so however you want to do it mathematically, either just substitution or double signs, integer signs, it's up to you. But it's a good idea to check. If you substitute this -2 in for this A, do you get +2? Negative times negative is plus. Good job. Okay, how about this one? You got -5x and -bx. So if I put a 5 in here, do I get -5x? Yes. If I put a 5 in for b, the subtraction sign is negative, right? Yeah. So if I put in a 5 for b, I get -5x, which is exactly what I want. So 5 is right there. Again, I don't care if you're making mistakes. You'll get better and better. So once you make that mistake 2 times, the 3rd time, it might click. -3. If I put in 3 for c, do I get -3 or +3? I put +3, so I need a -3 for c. Okay, if I put in -3 into this form, you can see I would just have subtract 3, which is what I want. Okay, try your best. Just try. This one, find A, B, C. from here, put that on top, and then find ABC. What does ABC mean?
A times B times C.
Good. Now, this is the old version. There should be a subtraction sign right here, okay? Negative 5x squared. Can you guys please add that negative? Otherwise, it will not work. You'll get a negative. So negative 5x squared, subtract 3x, subtract 9. I changed it, sorry, but now I'm using a PDF. That was the original. Negative 5x squared, ax squared plus bx, subtract c. Find your a, and your b, and your c, and then the question asks you to multiply all your numbers together. Next time I might ask you to multiply a and c. Next time I might ask you to go c subtract a. Right? You may. Okay, let's go back here. Okay, let's put homework. Yeah, that's fine. Over, okay. So like terms. Underline P, including the sign. All P's, like this, part of the term. All the signs. Good. All those are Q's. Okay, hold on, not put anything away. Okay, let's see how you did. A equals. Okay, remember I added this negative sign here. What does A equal, everyone? Negative 5. What does B equal? 3 or negative 3? If I put 3 in for here, I do not get negative 3x. So it's, hold on, negative 3. What does C equal? 9. So negative 5 times negative 3 times 9 is 135. The back of this page is homework for Monday. So you got pages 2 and 3, which were due today, 4 and 5, which is distributive property, and this numerical response. Back page, just try your best. God bless, an awesome day.